Hi, friend. So, in my house, we've been having the discussion about the death penalty. Um, we have watched a couple of things, one of them in the news, and one of them was like a documentary, and had a discussion about something that happened in our own neighborhood where one of our neighbors ended up chasing his ex-wife to Texas and murdering her whole sister's family, which was pretty shocking for us. And we had this discussion about the death penalty because my husband and I originally, at least, disagreed on the death penalty. And so we had this discussion with our kids, and the reason why I think it's a good thing for us to talk about here is because I think that, again, this is another place where things are morally twisted, and I think it's a good discussion to have because I'm for the death penalty, but I really, I'm saying that with a good government in charge, which is kind of iffy these days. But hypothetically, if we had a good, decent government with good, decent people generally voting for good judges, and if you were to convict a serial killer who had killed multiple people, then I say absolutely put that person to death. And my husband says, or at least did, I think I've kind of convinced him a little bit, but he said, well, the worth of souls, blah, 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 blah. It's not our right. It's God's right. And that always sounded ridiculous to me. Okay, so I get it. I get the fairness. I get the burden of that responsibility. But to me, this is just a recorded response. Like, this is what nice people say. This is what we're gonna say. But the truth of the matter is that, for example, if a dog were to get really aggressive and harm multiple people, he doesn't even have to put him to death, but if he were to kill multiple people, of course, even just one, if it was a dog, they would put the dog down. If it is a human, I don't think necessarily that everyone who's killed one person needs to be put to death, but if we are talking about a serial killer here, then we are talking about a person who has a taste for death, for murdering. And we don't know how to fix that. We don't know how to fix that. The only person who knows how to fix that is God. If we continue to allow a person that has gone to that level to live in our jails, in our systems, we are only keeping the evil contained, I guess, for a short time before the sentence is up, before an EMP takes out all the electricity, until there's an escape, until I don't know. But what needs to happen is that these sorry, just a second, my power. Okay. Sorry, my power is running out. Anyways, but I've always hated those superhero movies that they, you know, like I get this too, but the superhero is always like, oh, well, yeah, no, I can't kill this person because then I would be just like them. And I think that's ridiculous. And I think that's a horrible, sad thing to put out there, because what about the worth of the souls that are being taken? What about their worth? What about their lives that were lost, the multiple lives that were lost? Those lives have value. And I think that we can make very harsh judgments. I think that's our right to do, because if we don't, then we are actually losing the divine masculine, which is something that is important for our posterity, for our protection, for our freedoms. And we start to lose common sense, which is, you know, I think very important. And one thing, okay, so sometimes I think too that when Jesus came and he brought the higher law, and that higher law was love, and he basically told us that replaced the law of Moses. I feel like that we lost the importance of the law of Moses as well. And if you don't know what that is, it's like you give back what was given or taken, and like an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. So the way I see it is that the higher law is reserved for a people living a certain kind of standard. And as that doesn't mean that we don't love, you know, sorry, my equipment's going wonky, but it's ridiculous, in my opinion, to say that we don't love the people that we convict. And this goes for sex offenders and child abuser. I don't care if they're your, you know, your spouse, your father, your, you know, best friend, brother, whatever, or your mom. Like, females can be there too. We have to set certain boundaries and have certain laws affixed if we ever want to see this go away, or at least go down, or start to like if we start to get a hold on this, it's because we've shined the light in the darkness, because we've put a consequence to the crime. And if somebody's at a level of not being able to control themselves, then there is a consequence for that needs to happen. And in my opinion, God is the best person to deal with that person, that he knows exactly how to get them, you know, this murderer, this serial killer, salvation, if it's possible. You know, if it's possible at that point. He knows the best way to get him where he needs to be. And, you know, with love unconditionally. And with our abusers, there's nothing wrong with putting them in jail, with convicting them, with, you know, in some cases, if they're serial rapists, then forced sterilization, maybe. I don't know exactly how that works, but something that gets them to stop, destroying lives, because that's really what's happening. I know that there will probably be quite a few people who disagree with this, but it's where I stand. And I really believe that Jesus would have, if he was here, would have taken care of all of these, people that have lost their way for us, the people that are dangerous to us, and that we have this responsibility to take care of our children too, and take care of our victims, our vulnerable people. And anyways,